Okay, this is Monte B with Mondays with Monte, and I'm going to wait a few seconds, give some people some time to get here. Had to start over. Had to adjust the title, I guess, to say. I'm wearing my purple today in honor of the legendary Kobe Bryant. I know that we're all mourning his death, and to all the teachers out there, to all the educators out there, please understand that some of our students today may come in with heavy hearts. They may come in a little troubled today because Kobe was more than just this person we saw on TV. He was a person that these kids grew up with. They grew up knowing. They grew up watching. For me, with the same age, and so it was a little heart-wrenching, a little bit. And knowing Kobe the whole time through television and through sports makes this loss such a difficult one. But today, we're talking about the danger of seeds in hand. Again, tag somebody, share this with someone. I think that this message today may help you. I hope it helps you. It has really helped me. And I try to share with you things that I think are practical, things that I think will help you, I hope. And these are the same messages that I share with my young men in the brotherhood here at McAdory Middle School. So what I said to the young men, I said, asked them, what's the difference between a seed in your hand and seed in the ground? And after hearing their responses, some of them said, well, seed in the hand, it's just there, it doesn't grow. I said, well, why don't seeds in your hand grow? And they said, well, because it doesn't have dirt. It doesn't have water. It doesn't have sunlight. It's just in your hand. And so in a nutshell, I summed it up with them saying that, well, seeds in your hand don't have the right conditions to grow. I hope I'm making sense here. Whenever you hold seeds in your hand, they don't have the right conditions. They're not in the right environment. They're not in the right climate to grow. And sometimes I equate that to even our dreams. Sometimes we hold our dreams or our visions or our passions in our hand in fear of putting them in ground, because sometimes putting them in ground require that we have to let go. We can't see it. We have to watch it go through a germination process. It's buried. But holding it in our hands, sometimes it's like being selfish, because we want to hold on to what we have. We want to keep it there so that we can have control over it. Whenever we keep seeds in our hand, it's no good for anyone but birds and only to ourselves. And sometimes we can put it on pieces of paper with glue and make artwork out of it, but it's not in the right environment. It's not doing what it's designed to do. Let me ask you that same question about your dreams, about your passions and your vision. Are those things that you are designed and created to do, the things that God has put in your charge to take care of? Are you holding on to those things? Are you afraid to allow those things to be in the right conditions to grow? Are you in the right condition to grow? Are you in the place where you need to be so that you can grow exponentially? Or are you just being held at bay? What I mean by being held at bay is that you're just doing the bare minimum. You're not doing what's required to be as successful as you need to be. Sometimes we stay stagnant. Sometimes we stay in places that don't challenge us, in places that don't put us under dirt, that we can be buried, that we can be nurtured, that we can be pruned and taken care of. Listen, seeds are meant to be placed in grounds. Seeds are meant to be buried. Seeds are meant not to be seen. Watch this. Sometimes we want to be seen. Sometimes we want to be elevated. Sometimes we want people to shower us with, oh, how great you are, how awesome you are. Listen, I had a most disappointing experience on this past weekend. Went to go visit my grandmother who's in ICU, and y'all keep her in your prayers and your thoughts. And upon going into the ICU to visit grandmother at the visitation hours, I hate to say this and I hate to put my folks on blast, but one of my relatives kept saying, I'm a preacher. I've been preaching for 52 years, and so is a preacher, and so is a preacher. And I said, I call this lady, she's very dear to me. So I said to her, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Why we're so busy trying to worry about what our titles are or who we are making us so great. You have to abandon your titles. You have to abandon what you think makes you great. You see, because Jesus does the reverse of this thing. He says, he who wants to be great must first be least. Who wants to be first must first be last. You see, the idea that Jesus has about this seed and this ground, he says, if you want to be great in me, bury yourself, be humble, go low, go in the dirt. You understand what I'm saying? And so seeds in our hand, They're not great for producing great harvest. They don't produce anything. They're just in our hands for us to just look at, for us to hold, for us to feel the texture of. But when you bury that seed, when you put it in the ground, when you put it in the right conditions to grow, and listen, every ground doesn't produce the best harvest. So you have to find the right ground, the right soil, so that your seed can grow. Not only do you have to find the right soil and the right ground, you have to find the right conditions, the right temperature, put the right water it the right way, give it the right sunlight that it needs, nurture it the way it needs to be nurtured. And what the old folks say, sometimes you have to talk to it. What I also said to the young men that I had in the group, that when I take this seed and I put it in the ground, now mind you, when I have seeds in my hand, who's in charge? I'm in charge. And I know that being in charge of my own seeds is deleterious if I don't plant it. You understand? It's harmful if I don't plant it. But when I plant it in the ground, I'm in charge of facilitating the process of growth, but I'm not in charge of growing it. Watch this. You see, I'm only in charge of putting it in the conditions that's necessary for the growth. I'm in charge of watering it. But when it grows, it goes through a death process, a germination process, where this seed is underground. I can't see the workings that's happening. Listen, y'all, let me tell you, when you go low, when you're humble, when you are put in the conditions where you grow, everybody won't see the work that's manifesting on the inside of you. Everybody won't see the growth that's taking place on the inside of you. Everybody won't see all the things that you're going through, the process of development that you're going through. But you have to trust that this is a process, that you're going through what's necessary for you to grow and mature. Am I making sense? And then I said to the young man, I said, what I plant is what I produce. If I plant orange seeds in the right conditions, in the right temperature, then eventually I'm going to produce a tree that's going to bear oranges. If I plant apple seeds in the right condition, under the right temperature, in the right environment, I'm going to produce an apple tree, right, that has lots of apples. Get this. Even after the trees grow, they still have to be pruned. They have to be cut. They have to be developed. They have to be corrected. There's nothing wrong with correction. There's nothing wrong with being told, hey, man, you got to fix that. Hey, daughter, you got to fix that. You got to correct this area in your life. But here's the most important thing. You can't plant one thing and expect something else. I can't plant apple seeds and expect a bunch of oranges. Watch this. You can't plant negativity and expect positivity. You can't plant death and expect resurrection. You have to plant what you expect to receive. Seeds in your hand are meant to be planted. But remember, whatever you plant is what you're also going to reap. Listen, I hope this has been helpful for you. I've been trying to teach my young men today, not just today, but last week in time being. I said, look, if you plant being horrible to people, that's what you're going to reap. If you're disrespectful, that's what you're going to reap. If you're kind, that's what you're going to reap. Now, are all people going to be kind to you? No. But life has a way of working things out. Life has a way of giving you what you sow. It has a way of working out. It's a principle. You reap whatever you sow. But I tell you, holding on to it, holding those seeds in your hand, they're dangerous. If I were to tie this up to a scripture, do you remember when Jesus came to the talked about the parable of the sowers? He talked about how not the sowers, but the ones who had received talent. One got 5, one got 3, and one got 1. The one with 5, he sold it, and not sold it, but he invested it and got an increase. The one got 3, invested and got an increase. But the one who had 1, he held on to it. He buried his talent in the ground. Now, that's different from seeds, please understand, but he held on to it. Same thing, whatever you have in your hand, whatever gift and talents that God gave you, the seed that God gave you, you have to invest it. And seeds, the way you invest seeds in grounds, the way you invest your dreams is by putting it in a place where it can mature, where it can grow, where it can be developed, where you can grow, where you can be developed. What is it that you want to do in life? What is it that God has called you to do? What is that purpose, that assignment, that task, that mission that he has given you? The word submission means to bring it under a mission. So what is it that you're bringing under? What is it that you are planting or bearing under something or someone who can help you mature into what you need to be? Look, seeds in your hands are dangerous because seeds are always meant to be planted. Look, I love you. God bless you. Let's manifest destiny.